Over 12 months ago, I ran a London Marathon for the first time. So let's reflect on the last year's London Marathon and the experience I had. April 27, 2025, I've done something which I never thought I'd be capable of doing. I went from never running to running the London Marathon. And what more, I only had 12 weeks to train for it. At Buffalo Fitness Studio, I was given a fantastic plan by the owner, Sean Elliott. And during some of the cold winter days, training was done inside the gym. And then once the weather improved, it was time, once the fitness had got up, to come here, the Warren, where the outdoor training really took shape. So I'd never done running before, and to be honest with you, I never really sort of found running would be enjoyable. But at the beginning of February last year, I had an email from the Make-A-Wish Foundation asking if I'd like to take a place and raise money for the fantastic job they do. But once the place had been accepted, the hard work was to begin. So at first the training wasn't too bad. Indoors, in the gym, I was normally the only one in there on the treadmill, running for half hour, 60 minutes, doing half hour, an hour on the bike as well. All seemed pretty easy, but if I'm brutally honest, like confidence to go out running in public, I didn't have it. So the first few runs, I'd run outside on farm tracks. You can see some of the earlier vlog videos where I was out on my own in the middle of nowhere getting some mileage in. But after about 5-6 weeks, the fitness was really starting to gain and the mileage went up. So here at the Warren, it's only just part of it, it's a 3-mile circuit. So it's from here where I'll do a couple of laps. It's kind of uphill, up and down. It's really nice and peaceful around here. There's not many people come around. And after that, we went on longer runs. I think went on a 12-miler, 14-miler. And to be honest with you, I know reading a lot of the London Marathon vlogs, people doing up to 20, 22 miles during the training leading up to the marathon. My longest was around 16 miles. Felt great. A sense of achievement in that, doing 16 miles, going from 0 to 16 miles. And I really felt that I could do it. I think my first outdoor run, I seem to recall going out at night. It was a cold, frosty night. Probably wasn't best prepared, shorts and t-shirt for it. That was tough. Don't get me wrong, there were times when I was out doing my runs, I was thinking, what the hell am I doing? It's not something I've been doing for years and years and been practicing and training for. It was literally couch to marathon. So marathon weekend, yeah, absolutely buzzing. My wife and son and I went to London on the Saturday, travelled up early, checked into our hotel. Idea was to try and relax and prepare myself for the following day. We ended up going for 2 or 3 mile walk, which is probably not the best idea, but I don't think it made much difference. It's nice to get out and you sense something big was happening in London the following day. The atmosphere was amazing, lots of people around. It's a beautiful sunny day, pretty much like today really. So marathon day itself, so I got up nice and early, prepared myself, my water pack, had a running vest and packed my electrolytes and everything, got everything ready, went down for breakfast, just had a light porridge that day before sort of making the way over to the start line. Bit of a rush really, because just walking down the street and there was a bus. If I remember rightly, there was some tube strikes or some problems on the train, so the train I was originally going to get wasn't running, so literally I had to have a quick goodbye to my wife and I had to jump on the bus and make my way over to the start line. So arriving at the start line, lots of people, there's, the atmosphere was amazing. There was lots of people around, there's music, the helicopter, TV crews and all that around. I don't know, did I get nervous? If you look at some of the footage, yes, I probably looked nervous. I didn't necessarily feel it. I felt apprehensive, like, what the hell am I doing? Reality finally sets in. There's one thing doing a couple of miles on the treadmill, about to embark on 26.2 miles. Doesn't matter how much training you've done, it was a very, very hot day that day. So I was conscious of keeping myself hydrated, keeping myself, ready for the long slog ahead. So you got there early, bag goes on the lorry, and you kind of go and do some warm-ups, stretches and whatnot. You hear the different waves, get called in, and off they go. And finally it's your turn to come in, and you kind of go in your pen, you're making your way around to the start line, and you're off. The plan was, I was never going to do it in any record time. So for me, it was to complete the marathon. It doesn't matter how long it took. So yeah, determined to make a slow start, steady start, and which I did. Again, keeping fluids going constantly. I didn't want to load myself up too much at once. Otherwise, I might get myself a stitch and struggle. But no sooner did we come out of the park and hit the public streets, the crowds in London, wow. Everyone was out. I think one of the first memories I had was someone cooking bacon sandwiches. Could have done one that morning. Beginning was pretty flat. Then you had a couple of miles of going downhill, which again I was conscious of not going off too fast, because whilst it'd be easier, it's an opportunity to save a little bit of energy for later on. These are all parts of London I've never been around before. I didn't really know where I was. So it wasn't until sort of mile 4, 5, 6 when you're going through Greenwich Park and then Cutty Sark. As you got those places, the crowds got really bigger and bigger, and there's more and more runners as a lot of the other waves kind of congregated into one. Along the way there was various bands, musicians, discos, brass bands, you name it, it was there. It was electrifying. Before we set off, we'd arranged specific points to meet up. That's my wife and son, and also our other son and a couple of friends also came down. Obviously all the bibs have got the tracking, and my wife was tracking me. Unfortunately, as we approached mile 11, tracking showed me as having gone past them. There's so many people, you can't look out for everyone. So I wasn't aware that they'd left because they thought they'd missed me. And as I approached where we'd arranged to meet, I rang my wife, and she was obviously let me know that they'd gone because they thought they'd missed me. So that was tough. But we did arrange to meet again later on, which thankfully at mile 19 going through Canary Wharf we did. Approaching Tower Bridge, our daughter rang, she was watching it with grandchildren. And there was a camera on the Tower Bridge, and I had a message come through to say, when I'm going over Tower Bridge, keep to the left-hand side, and which I did, and I saw the camera and I was waving, and thankfully I was picked up on the TV, not waving at that point, but yeah, they managed to see me, which is great. I think by the time I got to like mile 20, emotionally I was drained, the knees were sort of starting to hurt. I didn't feel like I needed to stop. Still had energy in me, but it was great. Once you get past, say, mile 16, and then in the back of your mind you've got 9, 8, 7, 6 miles to go. That certainly mentally helps you so much. But by the time you get to mile 22, the areas are very familiar. You know how much further you got to go. Bumped into our son and friends around mile 22, 23 it was. As you're running down the embankment, obviously you've got the tall buildings on the left, and then slowly the very top of the London Eye appears, and you're close. And then a little bit further, you then see Big Ben, and obviously studying the maps and the route. You get to Big Ben, you turn right, it's a long run down the road, you're nearly there at Buckingham Palace. At that point, yes, I'll be brutally honest, it was hurting, but I was that close, I knew I'd nearly done it. And I wanted to run across the finish line, so at that point I did do a little bit of walking to save a little bit of energy. I certainly didn't want to stop, because if I stopped, I'd never get going again. Running down Birdcage Walk, I never realised the road was so long. I thought from memory it was a short run, and the right-hand turn to Buckingham Palace would turn up any time now. It just seemed to go on and on and on. But the crowds, again, it was about 4, 5, 6 deep all the way along. And one thing they say, if you put your name on your t-shirt when you're running, the crowds will call your name out, and you know, yeah, they did. So coming up to Buckingham Palace, it's here, kind of goes a blur. The finish line is within sight. You know, you're half a mile from the finish line, and every emotion is going through your mind. You've done it, all the hard work, and yeah, I don't remember too much about it, if I'm brutally honest. Thankfully, got recordings of the cameras at the finish line, showing me coming over the finish line. I think once had finished the marathon, the most important thing for me to do was to meet up with loved ones. I knew they were meeting down Downing Street, and you know, I was desperate to sort of see them. They knew I was fine, a little bit sore, and showed them my finishing medal, which was, you know, it's a great achievement, and very proud of it. I got down to where Downing Street is, and again, I couldn't find my wife, and there's video where she was behind with a phone filming, and I was just putting my earpieces in to give her a ring and see where she was, and yeah, she crept up on me, and big hug. Very emotional. So having finished it, what advice would I give? Well, yes, a marathon is a race, but if you're not out for a super quick time, it's finishing it, and you need to do everything you can to ensure that you finish it. Make sure you take your fluids, and then there's plenty as you go around. I also brought my own. Conserve energy, because 26 miles is a very long way. You don't want to go off too quick. You need to keep yourself going for the whole time. The atmosphere of running around London on that day, you know, what a day it was. And, you know, to be brutally honest, you know, I wouldn't have wanted done it any quicker. Savour the atmosphere, enjoy the experience. You may only ever do it once. Hopefully I'll get to do it again. So since running the marathon, I've tried to keep up running. I still go out running. I still come up here once or twice a week when I can, if the weather's good. I'm a bit of a fair weather runner, if I'm honest, but that's just how it is. I enjoy it. It's nice to go out, clear the head, put some music on, fresh air, outdoors. So those of you who are running a marathon for the first time, my advice is enjoy the day, enjoy the experience. You will enjoy every minute of it. If you need to walk, walk. It doesn't matter. At times you do need to walk, but try and get some rhythm, try and keep to the same pace. Certainly I wouldn't stop if I would have to, because you may just not get going again. Unfortunately, I didn't get a place for London 2026, but hopefully I might be back for London 2027. See you later.